All right, Senator Benson. Did we have a nice coming together of ideas?
Yes, it was very wonderful.
Excellent. So we ready to move forward?
That was, yes, we can.
Awesome.
And I really want to thank everybody who convened that, that wonderful group. It was just wonderful.
Love it.
A very, very cordial give and take.
Okay, so outstanding when I left were two amendments that the treasurer was suggesting.
Yes.
Okay, what's the first amendment, Mr.?
The First Amendment would be on page 21, beginning with line 30, on to page 22 through line 6, striking those provisions. These are provisions that would change where the authority related to canceling and rejecting all bids would rest. Striking these lines would retain that authority with BPW as opposed to designating in statute the chief procurement officer. My understanding is currently that authority is delegated by BPW, but striking this language preserves BPW's authority to make that delegation.
And the treasurer is asking us to strike that, though.
Treasurer's office is asking you to strike those provisions to retain that authority with BPW.
Okay. And of course the governor's office is in the other direction.
Yeah, I believe the conversation
Would like to
was-
keep it there or no? Yes.
We're fine. We would prefer to keep it, but we won't.
Okay. Anyone have any thoughts on the committee about that? Senator? Senator Rose Pat?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're looking past me. Then I would move to adopt the amendment.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Second amendment.
Second Amendment would be on pages 50 and 51, starting on line 16, page 50, through line 11 on page 51. This is a new provision that would alter the authority for contract modification.
New provision as in, it was in the bill, though.
In the bill, it would be new law. The Treasurer's Office has recommended striking this position to retain the authority for setting the contract modification threshold with BPW.
Okay. And your feelings?
On this one, Mr. Chair, we did introduce this at $1 million to go up. Based on some concerns that were expressed by the treasurer and comptroller, we brought that down $800,000 to $200,000. That currently is the small procurement threshold for construction anyway. The other small procurement threshold is $100,000, so it does elevate that a bit, but it does keep in line with what the board had already been okay delegating authority elsewhere. This one is really big to us from an operational point of view, because when we have to make a modification of $51,000, we have to go back to the board and wait the 6 weeks to get on the agenda and move through the process. So we would respectfully request that we were to resist this amendment.
Okay. Comments on that comment? On the idea? Senator McCray?
Mine will be very short because I related prior to the other meeting. He's my first line of defense, first person I call when I have an issue at BPW, so that's the position that I would take.
Okay. Anybody else? Everyone's shaking their head. Okay. Amendment's been moved. All those in favor?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, comment? Yeah.
I'm going to speak against the amendment.
Okay. Please.
I agree with it in principle, and I agree with keeping the authority there, but having been involved in getting issues before the Board of Public Works, it does take time. And I think for small modifications, I think the efficiency argument outweighs the authority argument. So I'd be opposed to that amendment.
Okay. Amendments on the floor. Any other discussion? Senator Hedelman.
Sorry, one more question. The modification is for what amount now?
Currently, by regulation, it's set at $50,000.
So this new law that was introduced in the original bill adds a section to State Finance and Procurement Article 4 contract modifications. Currently, there is no statute at all on contract modifications. It's totally in regulation, and the Board of Public Works has delegated $50,000. We believe the $50,000 threshold was a holdover from when the small procurement threshold was at $50,000, and all other delegation was increased to the agencies up to the small procurement threshold, except for contract modifications. So this would put not only statute for contract modifications and how the procurement officers and the agencies can do those, which are within the scope of work and for a specific amount, and that does not materially change the contract, and would allow the procurement officer to do that same dollar threshold for a modification, that they could go out and do a new small procurement. So we could let the procurement officer do a new contract rather than modifying the existing contract and maintaining the integrity of the contract and the transparency of the contract, which still goes to the Board of Public Works. Thank you.
Well, that got rid of the questions. Okay. All right, so the motion on the floor is to reject that amendment from the treasurer.
Yeah, it'd be striking page 50, line 16 through page 51, line 11.
Okay. If you want to reject that amendment, please raise your hand.
I'm unclear.
Wait,
You're unclear what we're voting on?
Yeah, I'm totally unclear where we're
the
going.
amendment would remove that portion of the bill from the bill, so it would take that out of the
The
bill.
motion is to,
Take lines 16 on page 50
out of the bill.
through line 11 on page 51 out of the bill.
So it would be to agree with,
The treasurer.
No, we want it to
treasurer's.
stay.
That's what I want to be clear.
Yeah.
everyone understand? Yes? Okay. All those in favor of rejecting that amendment, raise your hand.
Rejecting.
Rejecting the amendment,
The
or?
provision.
In favor of the amendment to reject the provision introduced in the bill.
You're playing with this.
Yes. The amendment offered by the treasurer to preserve existing law by striking this language from the bill would be not changing law, would be staying with no
about
statutory
this?
provision and regs.
If we keep it the way the law is, simple as that, all those in favor of keeping the law the way it is, raise your
The law,
hand.
not the bill.
Correct.
We want the amendment, yeah, right.
The amendment is to not have a new section 15-112.1 in state finance.
I mean, it's effective, I mean, let's see if I can get this a little more layman's terms here.
You want to do this?
No, I don't want to look at it. What? That's right. That is true, but in the big scheme of things, this is to allow the threshold to go up, right? Yes?
Yes.
The provision in the bill would increase the threshold by law
By what to what?
from
50 to 100.
50,000 to up to
100
200.
and up to 200 for construction.
So
and
the whole point
CPA.
is, I think, they're thinking, the administration is thinking that there are too many $50,000 contracts, right? Is that the bottom line?
Modifications to an
Or
existing
modifications,
contract.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Too many $50,000 modifications. And it really, at that point, that it would be easier if the threshold was higher, they could move government faster, be more efficient.
Yep.
Right,
That's their theory.
right,
That's your theory.
Yep.
that's right.
Okay. Do you like that idea? Do you want to make things go that way? Or do you want to go with the treasurer? No, I mean, look, it's serious. I mean, the treasurer has a legitimate reason too. They both have legitimate there's there's a legitimate reason to have the oversight of the treasurer. It's completely legitimate. So, if you would prefer to allow for the administration to have more flexibility because the thresholds are higher, raise your hand. 2, 3. And me. And me.
You want the administration
I do. Yep.
I'll go along with that too.
All right. And if you would like to go along with having the treasurer and company having more accountability, maybe, raise your hand.
You can't vote twice, though.
Or as many times as I want.
Okay, all right. Okay, whatever.
You are the deciding vote there, so which way do you want? Okay, it's done. The treasurer's amendment will stick.
Okay.
All right,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
and I know you all gonna laugh. There was one other amendment that I said I would not push if there were no other amendments to the bill, and it's related to the apprenticeship provision. It's rhetorical, it's not critical, but you have it, right, Philip?
Kim's gonna pass it out. She was waiting
Okay,
to
yeah.
see.
I would appreciate it.
There's an
I
apprenticeship
wouldn't
section.
press it to the road, I think.
I'm fine with it. It's just rhetorical.
Just as he's passing it, it's just to make clear the value proposition of why we want to promote apprenticeships
you already-
with state vendors. That's all it is. This was a big recommendation from the Apprenticeship 2030 Commission.
You can read it if you like to.
Go ahead.
Jane, can you get my mic? Actually, this is what you want, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So Senator Rosa Pepp's amendment on page 42, in line 26. The provision would read, may adopt, this is related to the apprenticeship provision, may adopt regulations to improve the recruitment or skills of employees of vendors or other regulations necessary to carry out this subtitle, including waiver processes. So the addition would be adding regulations to improve the recruitment or skills of employees or vendors.
That means apprenticeship?
This is the provision where the chief procurement officer, in consultation with the Secretary of Labor, shall adopt regulations establishing the definition of covered procurement. Those are the procurements that will be subject to the apprenticeship requirements, and may adopt other regulations necessary to carry out the subtitle. Senator Rosa Pepp's amendment adds into that regulations to improve the recruitment or skills of employees of vendors.
Mr. Chairman, he's just adding languages of why we're doing it. It's just a why. It's a why phrase, that's all.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, as amended.
As long as I don't take to the floor, I move favorable.
Senator Benson will be taking it to the floor.
Good.
Her committee.
Absolutely. I'll move favorable.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Senator Benson. There you go. Yes, thank you all.
Done?
We are done for the evening.
All right.
And we're here at what time?